Well, hello man cavers. What are we doing today? Excuse the hat, it's about 2 degrees, so hats and scarves have gone on. Right, we're going to make up a Gib Key. In fact, we're going to make up flywheel, dry pulley. We're going to make up 3 Gib Keys, possibly 4 thinking about it. Anyhow, Gib Keys for our lister L, I believe it is. Because I refuse to pay 60 quid for 3 or 4 little Gib Keys. £60, honestly, I refuse. So I'm going to have a go at making some. Can't do them on the lathe because obviously Gib Keys are square. And I've never made a Gib Key in my life. But famous last words, but how hard can it be? Right, I'm looking about on my scrap pile in my bin of metal. I have 1 metre of square stock. I'm hoping this is going to be approximately the same width, so I've only got to like notch a piece out and leave a lip on. But I don't know. I think we need to take this outside and offer it into the crank of the engine. Right, come on in. Turn round, go back. Marvellous. Alright. Here is said engine. Let me uncover it so you guys can actually see it. There we go. There's our big lister L. And we need a Gib Key for this flywheel. A Gib Key for that one. And a Gib Key on this side for the other flywheel, which sits over there. But is this bit of steel I have here, do that fit? Oh, it's a tiny bit too wide, but I think that crank's very warm there. We need this piece, don't we? I think I can file that down. I think I can get a disc and an angle grinder and just grind them down. Either way, I think we can do this. Right, let me get some measurements and then we'll be back. So basically, guys, I've been outside and had a measure. And this piece of steel here, which is for one of my lathe bits, is about the right width. That fits nicely in the slot. So we can see this is a tiny bit slack, so we need about 1 millimetre bigger than this. So I think this piece here is about 12 mil, but this is about 15. So we want about 1 mil bigger than that. So we want about 2 mil off one side of that. But I think what I'm going to do first is actually make the key with the step, and then we can go and then file it off endwards. So I need the top height, how long it's got to be, because we need to make the key. So we've got to leave a step up, how you do, don't they? Have the knob on the end, and then they're like slendered down. Now, I think Gib Keys have a very slight taper on, don't they, to lock them in so you hit them in. Never made a Gib Key, but I'm pretty sure they do have a slight taper. I don't know how long the Gib Keys got to go, because they're quite thick flywheels, about over 4 inches thick. So I'm going to make the key 4 inches long. Or do you reckon that's too much? Do you reckon we can get away with 3 inches? I don't know. Do the Gib Keys have to go all the way through the flywheel? I think if we made it 3 inch, that would work, because our flywheels are about 5 inches wide altogether. I think if we went in 3 inches, or 3.5 inches, will be about right. Yeah. So let's make it 4 inches in case we mess up. So I'm going to mark this off here at 4 inches long, so we know where we've got to be. And then we need to be about 12 mil. So we need a line through here. No. Let me measure the top height. Let me get my depth gauge. I'll just nip outside and do that. So guys, this piece of round actually fits where the key needs to go, height-wise. So, and that is alone a little bit. This is about 8mm. I know I'm saying about, don't worry, we will get more accurate. So we need the key to be about this thick, if you get my gist. So that's how thick our key needs to be to fit in the hole. So if we draw a line down here like so, we'll know roughly where to grind to. There we go. And this bit will be our nub. So this is going to be our key here. But we want to have a slight taper on it. So this piece of metal here I've done won't fit in there. But if I cut it all to this, we can then shave this end off here a little bit to get us, you know what I mean, to get our taper. Right, I'm going to get the grinder. Cut down here, and then I'll be back. Shan't do that on camera because it's going to be damn noisy. See you in a bit. So guys, what we have ended up with after I ended up cutting down this on the bandsaw, so we've ended up with this. Now, I know we have got to be, don't worry, that caliper's off, but I've locked it down. This is how wide our key needs to be. This way, so our width across here. So we need a good, probably 3mm off of that, look. So that'll actually fit into the keyway on the crank pulley. So now I am going to use the grinder. I'll put a new disc in, and I'm going to grind off. I'm going to leave this sticking out of the vise about the distance we need. I know this is all very crude, but you got to remember the idea of this video is, can you make a keyway? Yes, if you've got milling machines and all that kit, you can. We're talking, can you make a keyway man cave style? So if you want to save yourself a bit of money, because I didn't fancy paying 60 quid for 3 of these keys, can you make one out of some bar stock and an angle grinder? Right, I'd better get grinder here along here and get him thinned down a bit, and I'll keep measuring as we go till I get the right thickness. Then we can go outside and try it in the crank and see if I've got to take any more off there. Right, I'm going to pause this because it is going to be quite noisy and I've still got a stinking cold. So, back in a minute. So, we've done a bit more grinding. We're just, look, there we go. That's how hot is that? I think the heat of the vise, or the mass of this being in the vise, ooh, that's warm that end. This end isn't too bad. Have I got it even? It's a little bit thick that end, but that might help nip the key in. So let's nip outside, because I think I need to grind a fair bit off of this to get it to fit in. Because we want a very slight taper on here, don't we? We need a slight taper on this, so I think I've got to taper this end off quite a bit so we can get it started and then bang it in, and then when we're done, cut this off, leaving a shoulder, and hopefully that'll be a key done. So let's nip outside. I'm pretty confident though, yeah, I'm pretty confident that my taper has actually gone the wrong way. I think it's thicker this end than this, so I'm going to just narrow this end off because I'm pretty sure we're nowhere near right. Right, here we go, guys. Now that is going to be hot because I've just took quite a bit off that end. Oh, I really need to find my gloves, don't I? But we're going to nip out and see if that fits in our engine. Alright, here we go. It's been raining out last night. So here's our engine and flywheel. Will this key fit? Look at that. Look at that. It's starting to go. It is going in there a little bit. We need to grind a bit more right off. So we're just a bit thick this end so it hits. I think I've made that keyway long enough. I don't know whether they should go all the way through the flywheel. I don't think so. This one's going to end up going over halfway through, and I think that's going to hold the flywheel. So yeah, it's actually fitted in there quite well. I just need to grind this piece off a piece, so that'll like hammer in. Got to remember, we've got to get it in far enough so we can get this pulley back on here as well. So this keyway needs to virtually go all the way into the hill. Let's have a look. Let's do a bit more grinding till that fits just a little bit better. So, let's drop the calipers. So, we have our calipers and we know this thickness here is right. So I need to take it down to this thick up to about here. Then that can start getting tight to drive in. So I'll just keep working a piece off. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to put this in the vise and put this end here, which is right, level. So I don't take any more off that, because I'll start grinding the jaws of the vise, which we don't want to do. So if I just raise this one up a little, yep, if I just put this in the vise, raise this up just a tad, there we go, that end is about level, yep. Now I can grind a piece off here, and if I get to the jaws of the vise, I know I've gone too far. Right guys, we've done a little bit more grinding. Oh, there we go, there's our key. Let's see if that's going to slide in now, and if it does, we can just cut it off this end, and we might as well get it banged in. But I do have to make 2 more of these. So if this one's right, but the magic of video, I've then got to make 2 more. Let's cool him off, because he's hot, and that'll shrink him as well, in case he's got heat expansion. Look at that. Now that, if we cut that off here, if we get a good hammer, that should whelp in. Because you want these damn things tight. I mean, I shall probably never want to get these flywheels off again, but I might try and wiggle that flywheel on that shaft so it's a little bit closer. But that's something we can do in a minute, if that flywheel will budge up. But I really want to go a bit closer to that if we can get it. But I think, cut this off here somewhere, try and push that flywheel on a bit more, make another key for this one. So guys, I've cut our Gib Key off. I'm just going to go around it with a file, take the sharp edges off, do a bit of deburring, just to make sure there ain't no grinding slag down there. There we are. So we're just going to make these edges a little bit neater, so in another 50, 60, 70, 80 years, when I'm long gone, if somebody takes that flywheel off, I can say, ah, this old boy man made a key here, look. Look at this whole key someone made 50 years ago. And yes, it will be the key the Norfolk Man Cave made in his shed in Norfolk in 2024. There we go. Tell you what else we need to do with that engine. We haven't really had a proper look around that yet. But the the spec plate is missing. Now, from my limited experience with listers, I believe that the serial number is also stamped in the flywheels. Just checking there's no sharp edges on there, nothing what's going to snag up. It isn't. Right, that is our keyway made. Isn't that good? That is marvellous. Oh, and by the way, off camera, I made another one. This one's longer. Don't know whether I need a longer one, but this one just came up right. This is the one we're just done. Now, I did get some factory measurements, and this is the length, or this is about, I think it was 1/4 inch short of how long the factory ones are. This one is about 1 inch longer. I don't suppose it matters. All it's got to do is lock that flywheel onto the crank, so when the crank turn, the flywheels turn relative to it and they don't slip. So yeah, as long as that nips on, that will be fine. Right, we are out here with the engine. I've got our key. What I'm going to do is, I've got a little smidge of grease I'm just going to put around this key, and that will hopefully, if it ever needs to come off again, hopefully a film of this will stay in there to stop it rusting, and it might make it go in a tad easier. But the key shaft is clean. I'll bang that flywheel on, so there's only this much gap now through the engine block here. So I think that's about right. I have a solid metal rod and a hammer, and we're going to try and bang this key in. Look at that, in she goes. There you go, guys. Look, we need to bang that in. There you go. That is in there, and that's left us enough gap to get a screwdriver and come out. You're going to say, is that going to wiggle its way out? No! Don't be silly, that will not wiggle its way out of there, I can assure you. Right, can we get this pulley on now? Oh, look at that, that one goes on there a treat. Do I have my other keyway? The one I made yesterday? If so, what we'll do is, we'll whack that one in there. Did I have got that in my pocket, or did I leave it in? No, I've got it in my pocket. Here it is. Oh, right, this one needs a slightly different size key to the flywheel. So I don't think I've got enough taper on that. I think this one is... No, it's got up, but I think that one's a tad loose. Yeah. Tell you what I will do, just for shits and giggles, I'll see how easy that is to pull out of there. Right, let's have a look. I've got a cheapy screwdriver. Oh, he's coming out. That come out all right, that's good. Right, I think I just got to make a slightly bigger key for the other side, or for this one. And yeah, the next one is the flywheel for the other side. Right, bugger it. What we might as well do is I've now lifted the other flywheel back here, so we'll try and lift this flywheel back on. Why not? But it is very heavy. So before I go doing a lot of that, this shaft is not bad as it is, but I am going to clean it up a bit. Because the last thing we want is a flywheel going on there tight. So, clean your shaft, guys. If you've got a 10-inch shaft like this, because this is about 10 inches long and about 1.5 to 2 inches wide, you need to make sure it's clean and well lubed before you go putting anything over it. There we are. How clean is that? Let me get my rag. Oh, look at that, guys. That is about as clean as that is going to get. Right, before we go into any more of that, this groove in here is clean. I will just run the key up and down it. That's all clean. Just to make sure there's nothing jamming up what that key is going to jam on. There we are. Right, I think, and I've just realised I've made a mistake. That drive pulley, what I'll put on the other side, I think, comes on this side. Good job I didn't welt that on, isn't it? Right. These flywheels, do they have to go on a certain way? I don't think they do. There ain't no arrow on them, is there? Now, I think they'll just... look at that grease around that keyway on the flywheel. Let me wipe that out. Oh yes, that keyway on the flywheel is now clean. We'll put a bit of lube on that flywheel to allow it to go on. Alright. Aha! There's a sticker here, so I'm putting that on the outside. Because I remember, will this flywheel go on? Go on, girl. Yes. Luckily, look at that. Look at that, guys. The flywheel is on. There we are. There we go. So we'll, there you go. So let's see if our key I made last night is going to fit. Right, is that going to tap in enough? Well, that'll hold it. Last night, the one I made last night, a little while ago, is that going to hold it? I don't, well, that's got enough bite on that, you know. Oh yeah, she's tight. No, no, that has literally gone all the way through. Yeah, this keyway, let me try it. Oh yeah, this keyway does travel all the way through this engine. So this keyway is too thin. So I won't be able to use this one. And I'm not going to mess around putting shim under it, so I don't want to mess around. Yeah, there's no other way I can save this key. I've made it too thin and too long, because it does go all the way through the flywheel. Marvellous. So guys, that's basically it of me making a keyway. Since the video's ended, I have now made another keyway which I've just put on the other flywheel, so I just need to make one more to to go on that the little drive pulley. So yes, but I might be able to modify that key I made that was too long and too thin. I might be able to build that up with a little bit of weld, grind it off, so I don't have to go through the whole process, because they are finicky things to make with such tolerances. But it can be done using using an angle grinder, a cutting disc, a bandsaw, and a piece of 15mm square bar stock. You can make Lister JKLCS flywheel Gib keys and save yourself a lot of money, because I say I got that 15x15 bar stock from the local blacksmith for, that was £5.98 I think for a metre, and I can probably get 10 keys out of that. So there we go, guys. If you've got a couple hours to mess around, you can make yourself a couple of keys. Let's face it, no one sees them. They're hammered in a flywheel. The only thing to see is the little knurled end. So, you know, they ain't got to be particularly pretty, just functional. But it works. Right, that's it. I will show you the engine now with its flywheels back on. Here we go. Here she sits. Here is our Lister L with the flywheel on. This little pulley is not on, that's loose, but the big ones are all on now. The gaps are set about right. She will be fine. So yes, all good, guys. Right, we will see you next time. Bye bye for now. I do hope this coal go. I'm getting fed up with it now. Lister L.